Today's video is going to be a little bit different because we're going to be taking a look at the features that are coming in Minecraft 1.14 and 1.15. We're going to be talking them through, and I'm going to be making some suggestions for things that I would like to see included in these updates. Now, I want to make it very, very clear at the start of this video that these are just my ideas. Some of them are going to be silly, most of them aren't going to make it into the game, but I think that at least a handful of them could actually be really cool. I also just want to say a massive thank you to Xisuma for summarizing all of the features that are coming in these updates, because without him, I definitely would have missed a bunch of really essential stuff. The first feature that I want to take a look at is bamboo. Now, obviously, this has me very excited because this is another item that I can potentially farm in Minecraft. But I personally think that bamboo should work differently to other crops in the game, because bamboo in real life, as far as I can tell, grows at a fairly constant pace. I mean, I don't come into contact with too much bamboo, but from what I know, it grows pretty constantly, and I feel that should be the same thing in Minecraft. So every 100 ticks or so, a new piece of bamboo is added to the stalk. Now, obviously, this means that we can create really efficient farms that are based on these timings. So as soon as it grows, the farm harvests it straight away. That's pretty sweet, but also we could use it for redstone timing circuits. We know that if there are 10 pieces of bamboo that need to grow, that's going to take exactly, I don't know, 100 seconds. Moving on to the pandas, and as we all know, pandas are constantly eating bamboo. They have to, otherwise they starve to death. Feel like that should be the case in Minecraft as well. Pandas should begin to take damage if they haven't eaten bamboo for a certain length of time, which means that if you want to keep pandas in your base, you're going to have to keep bamboo in your base. And if you want to breed the pandas, well, we all know that pandas tend to struggle with that sort of thing in the wild. Their numbers are declining because of it. I think we should make life easier for them by playing music. Pandas should only breed if you have music playing nearby, you know, just to help out the situation. I think that gives a use for jukeboxes and music discs, because there isn't really one at this point in time, but also B, I just think it's hilarious. Scaffolding blocks are on the horizon. They sound amazing, and this is something that Minecraft has needed for a very long time, but I've got a few suggestions that I think could potentially make them even more amazing. Now, suggestion number one is actually something that I mentioned in a recent Hermitcraft episode, but that is that scaffolding should be the only block in Minecraft that you're able to place under the block that you're standing on. So you shift right click with scaffolding in your hand on the block that you're standing on, it appears underneath it, and then you can expand out from there, which would make life so much easier in survival mode. I also feel like scaffolding should start off with a root, so the first scaffolding block that you place should almost be like the structural home point of the scaffolding structure. Then all of the other scaffolding that you expand out from there, perhaps the root block is a different color so you can easily differentiate it from other scaffolding. All of the other scaffolding expands out, and then when you break that home block, all of the scaffolding gets destroyed. Now, I know that Mojang is doing something similar to this, but I believe it's to do with contact with the floor and things. And I feel like this could make life just a tiny bit easier for builders. My final scaffolding related suggestion could be a little bit overpowered, but I definitely think it's something worth talking about. I like to call it expando scaffolding, and it involves right clicking 3 times on the edge of this block right here, and then 3 bits of scaffolding appearing. Now, this could be up to a block limit of, say, 12 blocks maximum you could expand out, and it would be a massive change for Minecraft. I personally don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it's a huge change. It's a completely new game mechanic, and in a way, some of the essence of Minecraft in that every single block is placed by hand would be lost, but it would be a huge step up in efficiency. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Anyway, moving on from that one, it's now time to take a look at villagers. In Minecraft 1.15, so the update that's coming next year, is going to have a massive overhaul for both villagers and also villages. And I thought it would be a good idea to take a look at villagers first, because I feel like this is a really, really good excuse to introduce a handful more interesting ones. The first one that I came up with is the item sorter. The idea is simple. The villager knows what chest he's picking items out of. So for example, this is your dump item chest. This is where you put all of the items into. Then the villager comes along, picks up those items, and then it either works in 2 ways. Either the villager knows what items are inside all of the chests and knows where to put them. So for example, the villager knows that there's already stone in this chest, so he knows to put more stone inside the chest because that makes sense. Or alternatively, it relies on item frames. So he walks up to it, looks at it, goes, oh, okay, this is clearly the stone chest, and then place the stone on the inside there. Either way is interesting, and either way would be a complete game changer. The next new type of villager that I thought of is the tree planter. Not really much to explain here. It's a villager that can plant saplings. Just the ability to automatically farm trees would be spectacular. I would really, really love that. That would, just please. And then finally we have got the switch puller. Now, this is a bit of an interesting one because it's the first time that we have a villager interacting with redstone, but I feel like this is a sensible way to do it. The idea behind the switch puller is that any player that this villager has traded with, so say for example you've done some trading with this villager right here, you've traded some emeralds with him, he likes you, if he sees you, he will pull the switch. So say for example you're walking up to your base, you're on your way, the villager sees you, pulls the switch, your door opens up and you can make your way into the base, and then after a little while, after you've gone out of eyesight, then the villager will switch off the switch. I love this idea. I think this is awesome, and it also keeps people out of your base that you don't want in there, that haven't been interacting with your villager. Now, kind of following on from the switch puller, the pillagers look amazing, by the way. I'm so excited for them, but I feel like these pillagers, you know, they kind of remind me of bandits, and if there's one thing that you can do to a bandit, it's bribe them, okay? So you could bribe a pillager with, say, gold or diamonds, and you'd be able to tell that you've bribed him with the love hearts or whatever, the dogs. You'd be able to tell, essentially, and then he would kind of act like an opposite switch puller. So when you walk past, he wouldn't flick the switch, not at all. But any other player that walks past, they're going to flick the switch, which means that you could have remote activation for things like traps and weapons. Please, Mojang, that would be a lot of fun. I feel like we're at that point in the video where I feel like I should mention that, once again, I don't work for Mojang. These are just features that I'm coming up with as a fan of the game and something that I personally would like to see. But I also feel like it's worth mentioning that, as I say, I don't work for Mojang, so I don't know what's possible. There's a chance that the things that I'm requesting aren't actually possible. Anyway, the crossbow looks interesting, doesn't it? I'm very interested to see how that stacks up against the trident and the bow in terms of usability. Am I going to have to carry all three of these things, or is one going to be better than the other? I'm really curious to see. But some suggestions that I've had for it is, well, number one, back to the bribery thing. I saw that some of the pillagers, they're holding crossbows, so it makes sense that if you bribe one of the pillagers, he's not going to shoot you, but he's going to shoot everything else. I think that would be a handy thing, so you could almost have bodyguards. That would be pretty sweet. But also, I feel like this crossbow, you should be able to place it on a block. So kind of place it down, mount it up as some form of turret, and then it would either give you more range or more damage. Villages, like the actual structures, are also getting a big overhaul along with the villagers. And I feel like this is a great excuse for Mojang to finally add in some form of piston house. Doesn't have to be crazy. Okay, maybe just a piston door here and there, maybe an armor equipping station, just some form of redstone would be really cool to see in the village. Just to have it there. I mean, and it would also, you know, new players to the game, they'd be able to see the interesting stuff that redstone can do, which I personally think is very valuable because redstone is clearly the coolest part of the game. I'm totally not biased. Another thing that's on the horizon is the new biome updates. So they're going to be doing desert, savanna, and taiga. I never know how to say that. But the first one that I want to take a look at is desert. We've got the meerkats, and this is almost similar. If they didn't add the switch puller, I personally would like to have this. The meerkats. I think that meerkats should always stand outside on the lookout for players until a player walks past and then they scurry inside. Now obviously this is first off a cool game mechanic because we'll be able to watch it happen, but also it would allow us to use it for redstone because we'll be able to detect when players are walking past a certain area. So that could be potentially quite cool. With the savanna biome, obviously we've got the ostriches which stick their head into the dirt. I think it would be cool to be able to have an ostrich helmet that allows you to stick your head into a block to be able to see through it so that you could spy on your friends or perhaps look around for things. I don't think you'd be able to see ores or anything like that, but just to be able to see through one block could come in handy. And then with the taiga, obviously we're going to be getting ourselves a campfire. Now I think a campfire should be dispensable with sticks, so maybe a dispenser dispenses 5 sticks and then it assembles the campfire in front of it and then you light it up with a flint and steel. And I personally think that campfires should be used to dry out sponges. So you can place sponges above campfires and it will dry them really, really quickly, so we don't have to worry about furnaces and things, because everyone knows that that is the most painful thing about building underwater. Drying sponges endlessly. One thing that I actually don't have any suggestions for but think is really cool is the target block. Something that I'd never even think of. It's not a redstone component that comes to mind, but it's something that is really cool because I've just thought it could be quite a good randomizer in that you shoot an arrow at the target block and then you have like a 1 to 15 randomizer right there, and then you move the block out of the way and the arrow drops off. Oh my word, yeah, Mojang, add that soon. That's going to be amazing. And finally, last but not least, new slabs and stairs are on the way. Dinnerbone's been talking about it, Xisuma Void's been making videos about it, and I feel like while the new textures and all the new stuff for builders is being added, I feel like us redstone bunch should also get a little bit of a slice of the pie by getting redstone slabs and slime block slabs. Now, if you're not aware of how useful these things are, just check out my videos on them. It's in the Redstone++ mod. They are amazing. They're some of my favorite redstone components, and they're not even in the game. So, Mojang, please do this. So we go. Those are all my weird and wonderful ideas for features to do with the features that have already been announced for Minecraft 1.14 and 1.15. I'm super excited for these updates, even if none of my suggestions get used, which, let's be honest, is highly likely. I'm crazy excited for it. It seems like they're going to be really interesting updates. I especially like the reworking of the villagers, because villagers, you know, they're getting pretty old these days, and they're definitely starting to look dated. But anyway, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please press that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.